Hey, what's up guys? Rydall here with a very important message, especially for the IFX website users. It has come to our attention that some Telegram and WhatsApp groups are using and impersonating IFX Brokers Holdings Pty Ltd and senior staff members to request customers to start trading and fund their accounts. We would like to request and warn users that these groups should be reported immediately. Please note that IFX Brokers Holdings Pty Ltd does not engage in any business activities on social media platforms. We encourage all of our clients to remain vigilant and refrain from engaging with any social media messages that claims to be from IFX Brokers Holdings Pty Ltd. Please don't be a victim of cybercrime and report any suspicious activity or communication you receive from these groups immediately. Our compliance team can be reached at compliance@ifxbrokers.com. Stay alert, stay safe, best regards, and happy trading. When we hear that MTI is historically South Africa's biggest pyramid scheme, we tend to keep our thinking limited to the South African borders. One thing I can tell you though is internationally, this thing spread far and wide. Let's get into the numbers that shows exactly how big this thing was. South Africa's biggest pyramid scheme pulled in scammers from everywhere, including China, Saudi Arabia, and Ukraine. Lawyers for the liquidators of MTI have recommended against pursuing scammers and other net winners in 30 countries. Correspondence between law firm Skarbord and Potgieter and the liquidators itemized estimated withdrawals in 23 countries worth nearly 522 million rand that they don't believe is worth going after. Saudi Arabia, Venezuela, Mexico, Cuba, Ukraine, Haiti, and Hungary were the countries with the highest estimated withdrawals from this list. The attorney said withdrawals in Saudi Arabia were around 104 million rand, which is 79.45 bitcoins, while members in Hungary had withdrawn roughly 16 million rand, which is 12.5 bitcoins. Skarbord and Potgieter's letter to the liquidators was filed as part of a pack of court documents responding to an attempt to convert the liquidation into a business rescue. It confirmed that Merit Trading International (MTI) was truly a global scam. Launched in 2019, MTI drew in serial scammers and victims alike by promising average monthly returns of 10%. It also allowed members to earn substantial bonuses by recruiting more people into the scheme. Now, that monthly returns of 10%, right, that is a little bit sus because MTI promised people 1% per day for growth on their money. Now, if you minus the weekends, you will most definitely get to a higher percentage than 10%. But alright, we move. The Western Cape High Court declared MTI a pyramid and Ponzi type scheme in April 2023, something that we've declared long ago. Several attempts were made to appeal the ruling and all failed. MTI made headlines in September 2020 when a group calling itself Anonymous ZA exploited vulnerabilities in the scheme's poorly coded website. Together with a My Broadband investigative journalist and community members, the group exposed the inner workings of MTI. The scheme collapsed in December 2020 after its founder and CEO, Johan Steinberg, disappeared while traveling in Brazil. Steinberg was arrested in Brazil almost exactly a year later for using a fake ID. He was found guilty and his sentence commuted to a roughly 595,000 rand fine. He was also remanded into custody and later transferred to house arrest pending his extradition hearing. Last month, a Brazilian news outlet reported that Steinberg had died after suffering a massive bilateral pulmonary thromboembolism. That is a scientific name for a heart attack, or I think it's a heart attack. MTI was by far the largest pyramid or Ponzi scheme ever in South Africa, and that is why I'm saying generally even I limited my thinking just to the borders of South Africa. Meanwhile, this thing is far beyond South Africa. The recently filed court documents state that members deposited 39,193.3 bitcoins into the scheme, even using the much lower price of 500,000 rand per bitcoin at the time of the scheme's collapse. MTI would be an almost 19.6 billion rand scam. That is a huge amount of money. This is much larger than scams like Creon, Travel Ventures International, BHI Trust, and AfriCrypt. Videos coming on them soon. MTI's liquidators have started aggressively pursuing everyone they can find or withdraw any Bitcoin from the scheme. And this is why I'm telling you guys, never ever invest into something that is unregulated, because when the scheme goes belly up, even though you had no ill intentions, they are gonna come after you simply because you withdrew some money from it. They have issued hundreds of summonses to MTI members in South Africa who withdrew funds from the scheme. The liquidator's attorneys also issued 187 letters of demand in the United States, followed by 149 adversary complaints and an omnibus motion in the state of Florida. That is intense. They are also pursuing net winners of the scheme elsewhere in the world, including Canada, Belgium, the UK, Namibia, Australia, Sweden, Botswana, and Germany. Just when you thought the list of countries couldn't get any longer, nah? According to Skyboard and Potgieter's report, they are investigating going after former members in countries like China, the Philippines, Spain, Portugal, Ireland, Mauritius, Nigeria, and Ghana. And the list just keeps on growing, my bro. However, there are also a few countries where liquidators attorneys have advised against pursuing anyone for various reasons. These range from the amounts not being substantial enough to struggling to locate a solid local correspondent. The table below summarizes the countries the attorneys recommended not proceeding in. So here's a full list of all of the countries where MTI have made business in and where people withdrew from. Countries where lawyers recommended against proceeding: Ukraine, 34,947,900 rand. Haiti, 20,110,050 rand. Hungary, 16,312,500 rand. Iran, 9,683,100 rand. Jamaica, 9,409,050 rand. Turkey, 8,613,000 rand. Ethiopia, 7,830,000 rand. Malawi, 7,477,650 rand. Suriname, 7,308,000 rand. Bahamas, 4,828,500 rand. Uruguay, 4,306,500 rand. Kuwait, 4,228,200 rand. Cayman Islands, 3,784,500 rand. Armenia, 3,680,100 rand. Belarus, 3,627,900 rand. Bulgaria, 3,523,500 rand. Countries where lawyers reconsidered proceeding. So these are countries now that they didn't bother with before, but when they saw the amount, they were like, let's check them out. Bangladesh with 14,642,100 rand. Slovakia, 10,727,100 rand. Countries where lawyers couldn't locate correspondents: Saudi Arabia, 103,682,250 rand. Venezuela, 92,354,850 rand. Mexico, 82,958,850 rand. Cuba, 57,589,650 rand. And lastly, Taiwan, 9,996,300 rand. So from a number perspective, right, this kind of gives you an idea of how big the scheme actually was. And I need you guys to pay attention to one thing. South Africa isn't on this list. South Africa isn't on this list, and I believe South Africans are the ones that invested the most into the scheme. Now that you guys kind of have a ballpark of how much money MTI raked in, remember South Africa isn't there, you can almost fathom how much money people lost in general. Now, this is why I keep on telling you guys, do not invest in unregulated schemes, because while there is people out there that is losing a whole lot of money, the lawyers that is busy working this case, they are having a field day, because their estimated payday, according to some reports, is allegedly 273 million rand. Now you guys also understand why the liquidators and lawyers is going so hard after people in South Africa that have invested money and withdrawn some. Even those that didn't withdraw extra, they are going after them because they have a stake of interest in there as well. This is most definitely not the end of it. More people is gonna get summons, more people is gonna get lawyers letter, and the number is just gonna continue growing. I certainly hope that even after Johan Steinberg's death, that there would be some type of conclusion and some type of monetary payback to everyone that invested into the scheme. Remember guys, no FSP number, no FSCA regulation. Do not take out your money for them. It's as simple as that. With that said, I'll see you guys in my next video. Cheers.